Hello and welcome. There is um, a lot to talk about tonight. It is March 18th, 2025. It is a motherfucking Tuesday. Kill Tony was yesterday. Guests are yet to be named. I know who it was. If I try to think. Yes. There was one guy that's been on a lot of times before, and then another guy who's been on a moderate number of times before. Stayed for the first bit, saw the first guy go up, and it is a guy that went up. So, spoiler alert. Um, and there's not much I can say about it. I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, Kill Tony happened yesterday. I was not on it. I can say that. I haven't been on for a while. It's it's a lot of pressure and all that. It gives you a little bump, but I don't know if I need it anymore. And I just, you know, like being on the sides a little bit, just observing. It is nice to be relevant and to be a current part of the show, but, it's time for other people to take a crack at it and let them have at it. So I'm graciously stepping to the side and letting other people go up. And not that I have much of a choice, but yeah, I'm just not on as much, and that's fine. Comedy, yeah, so Kill Tony happened yesterday, and it was a great time. I left kind of early, didn't go back. I wish I could have, but I'm just so lazy and cozy at home with my girlfriend, just doing nothing. That's what I do most of the time, just lay in a beanbag with my girlfriend. Hi from Australia. Hello. It's like 4 a.m. there, right? Or something like that. It's really late or something. But yeah, this most recent weekend, I was in Spokane, Washington. Free Palestine, says court. Is it, should we free it? I think, best case scenario for, uh, best case scenario for Palestine is that it turns into Cuba. No one trades with it. Just exists. So hopefully you guys can be like Cuba and nobody will trade with you and you can just live there and just have like old shit like Cuba does. Hopefully we don't have to free Palestine. We can motherfucking make Palestine into Cuba. One step at a time. Let's first make you into Cuba. We're going to try to assassinate your guy 300 times like we did Fidel Castro. And then you can just, after that, maybe you can turn into Venezuela. And after Venezuela, it's baby steps. We gotta start Palestine off. We can't just let them turn into motherfucking Switzerland or something. But soon you can be like Panama or something. Maybe we can build some shit inside you. Maybe that'd be nice. Um, yeah, Palestine, we should probably try to make it like maybe not a resort, but like a water park. But yeah, what else is going on? How long does it take to drive from the top of Gaza to the bottom? I would say like 2 or 3 hours. How long is Gaza? How long is it gonna last for? Apparently they broke the ceasefire. Guess who did it? The fucking Jews. The Jews broke the ceasefire. They just can't help themselves. They're just like Imperial Japan during World War II. They just have to attack. They got a hammer and everything's a nail. If you give someone $1 billion, $1 trillion worth of weapons, then that's all they're gonna be able to do is motherfucking slam it into people. Um, but yeah, really, really distasteful. The Jews, the way that they're doing this shit, it is so fucking annoying the way they're genociding people. Not only do they kill as many people that are civilians as possible without any regard to civilian life, they also target children and shit during protests. They'll shoot them in the knee. They'll just do the most fucked up shit. And not only that, but then they act like you're crazy for noticing it. So, and then they'll like complain that they're doing a genocide. They're like, why do you have to treat us like we're doing a genocide, huh? It's just so fucking infuriating the way that they're doing this genocide. It's like, have some balls. Just admit it at least. Jesus Christ. They're just trying to make you seem crazy for noticing that they're doing a genocide. And they're trying to make you sound like you're wrong. It's like, dude, just admit that what you're doing. Don't also like lie to our faces. It's just because they've been at the victim of it for so long. They're the motherfucking um um they've been the victim of genocide, and they've been like a little passenger chihuahua for white people as they colonize everything, so they just learned how to do it the best, and they always have this victim mentality where they're like, I can do no wrong, anyone who's against me is wrong. And it's just an annoying way to do a genocide. The most annoying, most infuriating type of genocide. But yeah, other than that, it's going good. Um, I would just wish that Israel wouldn't act like they're not doing anything wrong, or like that we're crazy for noticing it, or that they're doing whatever. It's just not only are they doing a genocide, but they're trying to guilt you at the same time. But yeah, they learned from the best. They were passengers to white people as we did our genocide, so they've learned how to do it efficiently and effectively. Um, yeah, I mean, someone said, I am looking stressed. Thank you, Court, for the pounds. He's from England. England is a little past America in terms of colonialism, even though they did it way worse than us. And they are just looking past it, and they're like a little more advanced than us and noticing that kind of shit. Um, uh, yeah, I always look stressed. I always look stressed all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's being Asian. We just don't know how to enjoy things. We can only be thinking about the hustle and what we're going to plan to do in the future. We're never in the moment. Just like Yoda says when he talks to Luke Skywalker, he's like, I've been watching you in Tatooine. You're always dreaming about the future and wondering about your past, but you're never here in the present. What a wise movie that was. I've been rewatching the old Star Wars. I started from episode one, watched the super nice technology turn into shit, 80s analog technology. And now I'm excited to watch the sequel, which they're like, okay, we got the CGI down. We're not really going to be into the technology as the prequels were, but they're more into like portraying action and majestic sets and stuff. Yeah, just kind of sick of the Jews, but a lot of the Jews are anti-genocide. Those guys are the best because they have to go against their programming, against the motherfucking propaganda that they've been fed, and they're doing it purely because they think it's the right thing to do. These Jews, their family disowns them and all that. And they also are just like, we don't want the name of Jews to be besmirched by these people doing genocide. So they're fighting for, so that people are like, oh, not all Jews are bad. Some Jews are just anti oppressing suppressed people. And that's just where they're going to end up landing up, just because they want to be, You know, there's a benefit to being on the right side of things. It's not immediate and it's not the most rewarding, but in the long run, I think it's a better place to be. So those Jews are the best because they actually can make a difference. They can be like, hey, these are the people that I know that I can affect that are doing this. Yeah, they fucking bombed Gaza again. It's fucking, they're such cowards too. They never go out of their tank or their car or their airplane. They don't go house to house. They just fucking bomb everything, shoot everything from their tanks. They never take a risk. They're just using all the money to fight for them. And if they don't have the money, then they have to go down there and actually do shit. So America is to blame. And Trump is like pro Israel just because he's like, he knows it pisses the liberals off, even though a lot of Democrats are pro Israel. And he's like, these are the guys that are, he just is on the side of, he's just on the side of people that are in power. He's like, oh yeah, I could get a lot from this. Like, why is he going to be on the side of the Palestinians? He can't get shit from them. It wouldn't be useful for him. So it's like a utilitarian thing. His friendships are all utilitarian. He's friends with Russia because Ukraine, like, what can he get out of Ukraine? So he's just friends with the most powerful people. What do you think about the Serbia situation? I don't even know there was a situation there. Why can't the racists see that, Hans? I mean, a lot of like racists are anti-Israel and they're just using this war to be anti-Israel, which is kind of cool. But yeah, whatever it takes to stop it, and then we can deal with the racists later. But it's not like they have a big impact. Um, you know, the racists and the liberals coming together. What's going on in Serbia? Are they having a situationship there? I know that the region is like a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of little tribes and people and Armenians and shit, and they're all fighting, and it's a mess. I don't know why. Probably because of all the wars. Did someone else draw their borders? I have no idea what's going on in Serbia. Trump deported a bunch of criminals without giving them a trial, so we don't know if they're actually criminals to El Salvador. And he's just sending people to different countries because he doesn't care. And it's like, why don't we make sure with the process that we have of making sure that people are criminals, why don't we make sure that that's where they're supposed to go? What's with the rush? And why do you have to disobey federal judges? The Serbians are like the Native Americans of Europe, apparently, and they've been fucked up by Russia, so they're getting fucked up. Um, yeah, I mean, Russia has fucked up a lot of people. The Dagestanis, the Chechens, they're like the China of Eastern Europe. They're just trying to make everyone Russian. They're like an ethno state that's has too many minorities in it, so they want to try to make everyone Russia. Like China wants everyone to be Chinese. So, if you don't have an ethno state, you want to create one. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, so I went to Spokane, Washington last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday show. It was brutal. Long time away from home. Gave me a lot of time to write. Wrote a bunch of nonsense. Let's see what I wrote. My internet here is shit. I think my fucking personal hotspot is better than the internet here. Um, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, I went to Spokane Thursday, did a little show. The first show getting off a plane is always tough. My ears are clogged, so I can't really hear that well, and I can't really talk well if you can't hear well. So Thursday, is always a warm up, which is nice. I think it's better for the weekend if I go there Thursday because I get to do a warm up show, but it's just a lot of time away from home, like doubles. It like increases by 33% the time I'm away from home. It's brutal for my girlfriend. She got mad at me for no reason, just because I was away, which means she misses me. Um, yeah, that makes it tough too when your girlfriend's mad at you for no reason. Um, yeah, so that that was a tough weekend, but the shows were great. I had a great time. I think it was the best I've ever done. It felt really good. Um, um, but yeah, the weekend was good. It was I started doing the meet and greets more consistently. I have merch now, so that helps if I'm getting paid for it. And it helps if I don't have to deal with the money. If I just have to take pictures and someone else is doing all that commerce shit, which I don't like doing. I mean, okay, so they say that they knew they were make sure that they did make sure they weren't criminals. We have a process for doing that. And they didn't go through that. And they disobeyed a federal judge when they said turn him back. So I think that Trump wanted to do a PR stunt and he doesn't really care about people and he just sends people away and then he just says that they're gangsters and criminals. Like you shouldn't, even if they are gangsters and criminals, we should try them here if they committed crimes here. And yeah, they had a list. Like just because you have a list doesn't mean it's verified. I just think that you should fucking verify when you're sending people out of the country and make sure that they're not criminals. It's just, do you think Trump would do that well? You think he would care and be considerate? You think he would make a list properly when he doesn't even do anything properly? So I don't trust that he did that properly. I don't think he cares if they're innocent or not. And I think we should have a procedure to do this. You don't want the government to be in charge of just vindictively and emotionally punishing people. What you want to do is have the fucking government be a fucking Apple fucking thing where it's just like, this is what we do, this is the structure, this is the procedure, no emotion, no vindictiveness in the government, because the government is not that good. Do you want the DMV in charge of you fucking punishing you with emotion? There shouldn't be any emotion and punishment from the government. The government is too big and too powerful to be trusted to just do vindictive damage to people. But yeah, so I think that it should all just be procedural and bureaucratic. I don't think it should be like Trump just being like, I want these people to suffer and send them to different places. I think it should be a structure because the government, you don't want to give the government that much power. You want the government to be sticking to the rules and making sure they don't fuck anything up. That's what most of their time should be spent, making sure they're not fucking up the wrong people and making sure they got the right people, not emotionally and in a way that makes you feel good punishing people. That's not the job of the government. The government is a old creaky thing that's huge and you don't want them in charge of just emotionally punishing people. Um, my hair looks like trolls. The Under Wizard says, I'm a gangster and a criminal. You're not getting deported. You're one of the good gangster criminals. Yeah, like we make all these movies about Italian gangster criminals, and now we're like, oh, we don't like gangster criminals anymore. We only like law abiding, boring ass office pencil pushers. When you hate office pencil pushers, these Trump supporters, they don't identify with them. They think they're boring and lack any testosterone. Um, Yeah, I don't really know much about Eastern Europe. I don't know if I should be talking about anything really. But yeah, I think the government, you shouldn't have Trump just punishing people whenever he wants. I don't think he'd be the best at it. And crime is at an all-time low. We don't need to be overzealous in our punishment of criminals. Crime is low. Crime has never been lower. So why is this obsession with crime? It's just because he wants to fuck people up, and he wants to send people he doesn't like away, and he wants to create this country with only people he likes. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. And I think we should not give the government that much power. You don't want the government to have that much power. We just want to fucking have the government do its job, and we can figure out the rest ourselves. But yeah, once the government becomes too powerful and it just gets good at sending people away and punishing people and killing people, it's not good. The government is going to fuck you up. We should have the power. The people should have the power. And people are supposed to be served by the government. And once it gets good at fucking people up, then the government has outlived its usefulness. It's become a autoimmune disease that it's attacking itself. And I don't want the government to be that powerful. I don't want the government to have that much power over people. Um, Hans, you have a moped? Yes, I have a moped. I drive it around. It's beautiful. It's great. It's quick. I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to worry about getting, robbed because that thing is so cheap anyways. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I like having a little moped. It's like a bike, but better, faster. It gets me where I need to go, and it's small. I can squeeze in between things, and it's very dangerous, but especially the way I drive it. I drive it like a fucking maniac. I probably shouldn't do that. I should probably be careful, but I'm not. I just can't help it. I can't resist it. When I'm on a moped and I can go fast, I just want to go fast. I want to weave in between cars. I want to take advantage of it because I don't want to be stuck in between all these giant cars. I want to run away from them as much as possible, especially in Texas with everyone's giant cars and everything is built for the car. They're not really looking out for mopeds. So yeah, it's pretty scary riding a moped, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the speed. I enjoy the quickness. I enjoy the size. I enjoy not wasting gas. It just when I drive a car, it seems like a waste. Like I'm bringing all these seats. I'm bringing four extra seats, and I only need one. So I'm just bringing the exact amount of seats that I need. I only got one ass. How do you Tokyo drift a moped? Fucking you can peel out in a moped, right? You can spin the wheel and then spin it around. I don't know how that works. I don't really. I am. I don't know how many cc's it is, but it goes 70 miles per hour. So however many cc's that requires. I think it's past registration, and I need a motorcycle license, and I don't have it. But I only drive it at max like on average 7 blocks, maybe even less from my house to the comedy mothership. So. I don't really, uh, drive it further than that. If I have to drive further, I just drive a car. I try not to drive that thing as much as possible. It's just like what? It's basically a bike. Anything that's within biking distance, I just moped there. And then I pay way too much in rent to live close to downtown so that I'm within spitting distance and within biking distance of everything. And then I drive a moped. It's the perfect way to get around. It's, you know, energy physically not demanding. It's all gas powered, so you don't have to worry about pedaling yourself. Gas stations are everywhere. It's not electric, so I don't have to charge it. And gas is great. Gas is a great a great fuel. It's a great thing to use to fuel yourself. I am touring. Cole Hall says, "Are you going to tour soon?" I'm touring all the time. I go out on the weekends. It's not really a tour in the way that a lot of people think about it. A lot of people think when you're on tour, you have to be out of your house for like 5 months and you're just in a bus and you're just running around the city. I just go out for the weekends. That's how comedians tour. Like all the big comedians, they just go out for the weekends and come back home on the weekdays. It's much better. That way you can build your home and you don't have to be on the road all the time. You can go home and talk to people and build roots. So yeah, I'm technically on tour right now. I'm just at home right now. And you can do sets at home and work on new bit material. instead of just doing headlining material all the time. Um, but yeah, I've been working on this bit about DEI that didn't work. It's like, who is taking advantage of DEI? Black people are still poor. Mexican people are still poor. Like lesbians, there's like 10,000 of them. I am going to rally. It's on the calendar. Check out hanskim.org. And then I talk about how black people are the best at being unemployed. White people, when they're unemployed, they get sad and miserable. No New York, no big cities. I'm always skirting around the outside doing like small cities. I should do a big city. I don't know why, but it's harder to do big cities because there's just so many great comedians. So it's hard to get people to come out, I guess. And all the comedy clubs don't really want to host you for a weekend because they're like, well, why don't we just have Mark Normand and Sam Morril come in? So the cities are not really built for touring. It's more for comics that already live there to do a lot of sets. Saturday, I am going to be in Phoenix or Colorado Springs. I forget which one it was. Um, yeah, scooters are the best. So Yonder Wizard said there his family is gonna come see me Saturday, so that's probably for the Killers of Kill Tony tour. That's a fun little tour. Lots of comedians are on there, and it's like a hang. Lots of people are there. We're all chilling and hanging out. Um, yeah, come out and visit for the Killers of Kill Tony. It's a great show. The comics there are so good. David Lucas, Ari Matty, Cam Patterson, they're all fucking murderers. And we're all together in a giant theater. It's like a fucking pep rally. It's like a Kill Tony political rally. And it's full of Kill Tony people. Everyone's in a rah-rah energy. By this time, they've done so many of those shows. I'm surprised we haven't reached everyone yet. It's crazy how many people are out there. 300 million divided by a theater that seats 5,000, which is a giant theater. So that would be 300,000 divided by 5 would be 60,000 shows to get everyone in America. So if you do a show every day, that's 365. It's a lot of shows. So it's crazy how many people are out there. And now there's more people than ever. Back in the 80s, there's like half that number of people. So you'd get through it real quick. Nowadays, everyone is out there doing things. Want to visit Austin for the show? Come on out. It's a great show. I think we are coming to Dallas. But yeah, I think scooters are the way to go. Those bird scooters are kind of nice too. They're electric. It's nice to feel the power of electric beneath your feet. It's just zooming around. Um, yeah, I love bird scooters. I know a lot of people hate them, but I think what they hate is their shitty infrastructure in their city. There's no place for scooters to be besides on the sidewalk. So I think if we had an in-between lane between a sidewalk and a car, then you would not be as annoyed by bird scooters, and then people would be happier. But yeah, I think it's good to have bike lanes, but like better. A lot of people hate bike lanes because it's just right on the street. Let's all get scooters and raid the mothership. I think the mothership isn't that kind of vibe. They're more like a truck kind of vibe, truck kind of people. Doing the mothership crowd is all truck people because it's expensive, so it requires the urban elite, the fucking bourgeoisie of Texas. They're all independently wealthy HVAC owners, and you're performing for these people that own businesses. I wish my comments were stoned. I wish I was. I wish I was stoned right now. Oh yeah, raid. What does that mean, raid? Yonder Wizard says, "Good luck raiding the mothership." Yeah, you shouldn't raid the mothership, but I thought he meant like buy tickets and watch comedy politely as a big group. You have power as a group. Scooter raids are for Sunset. Yeah, scooter raids. Sunset has more of a scooter vibe. I have so much weed right now. I bought weed from. Well, ran out of weed, so I hit up two of my drug dealers, and then I felt bad, so I bought drugs from both of them. And then I got drugs from this show I did, Shroomed, with this guy who has so many drugs all the time. He gave me drugs, and then I got drugs from my guy in Dallas. Forget his name, but he has like a monkey on the logo. And a scam call. Let me see. Hello? And yeah, I got so much weed. So I don't know. I got all different kinds of weed. Yes, I have all this. And then I just got weed in Spokane. Some guy just gave me weed, a bunch of weed. Let me see if I can talk to an Indian. Yes. So yeah, I got all sorts of weed out there. That was a solar scam. Yeah, I want to talk to someone. I have a 425 number so when I get a call from a 425 number, it's usually a scam. Yes, solar please. Yes. So I know anytime I get a call from a 425 number, which is my area code, I know it's a scam because I'm only hanging out with 512 people. To make sure we are not making any clerical mistakes. Please stay on the line. Thank you. So I have an automatic 425 detector, but apparently, oh shit, they hung up on me. Can you talk about the blacks? I love the blacks. The blacks are, very beautiful people. They're also very sensitive at times and very maligned. They've been fucked over a lot. So, and, they're very prickly people in the beginning. But then when they open up, they're like a soft, gooey Ferrero Rocher. They've got a gooey interior. But yeah, they're very hard to talk to sometimes. They don't really want to fuck with you, as they say. They came up with the word fuck with you, and they don't do it a lot because, but it's important for them to make allies and friendships. It's like survival for them. So they're really good at that too. But yeah, I think black people are the most unique, most, you know, talented people out there. But they can also be criminals, and they don't really give a shit about hurting people. That's the good thing about Trump going after the immigrants is that he kind of let black people by. There's not really much you can do to he does to black people. What can he do? Just be like, oh, it's good that they get murdered by the cops. It hasn't been a big one recently. The cops have sort of been like they got spanked and then they're like, you motherfuckers, I ain't never gonna change. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna change a little bit reluctantly. But yeah, now I have so much weed all at once. When it rains, it pours. I got so much weed. Cam is a motherfucking killer. He fucking murders on the road. He gets standing ovations. People love him. It's a crazy thing. Cam is a force of nature. He is a gift upon the world. But yeah, I'm glad that black people have been skating by, this Trump presidency. I'm not a mouth breather. I breathe through my nose. I'm a nose breather. Why is that not an insult? You fucking nose breather, breathing through your nose. But yeah, I think some people don't like certain people, and that's fine. That's part of the show. Comedy's very subjective, and I think it's great that some people like certain people. I think that's a part of it. You're not going to like everyone. I started out talking about the Jews. Black people are lucky to have Hans in their corner. I mean, I don't know if I'm that significant to the black community. The thing is that the blacks are just they're like uh they're like either hot or cold. They're either the best friend in the world or your worst enemy. Um Black people are great. I think that they're athletic and strong. You want them on your team. Can you imagine the US Army without black people? I mean, it'd probably be the same, but it wouldn't be as good. I like I like racial humor too. I think it's great because it makes us look at each other in an honest way, and you can talk about everything. And we are a victim of our circumstances, and what's a bigger circumstance than our race? I think that if you don't see people's race, you don't really see people as they are. You just see this like idealized version of people, and you have like this limit on. You just have this idealized way of looking at the world. You're like, oh, I only see this and this about people. I'm going to ignore all the rest because that's uncomfortable and it makes me think things that I don't want to think. Um, yeah, I don't really have that much to say about black people right now. I'm sure I will in the future. The Jews are, great people. I think that they have always been on the side of justice and on the side of the oppressed, recent history excluded. Um, I think that a lot of Jewish people now are tribal. They're like, oh shit, we're all doing this thing. Now we have to all fucking, do this thing. And they're all like defending Israel. There was that guy in, I think it was Las Vegas, who was like, yeah, I was a victim of anti-Semitism. I was just being a Jew. And it was clear, like, he went to a Palestine protest and was acting like a fool. And he was just trying to make, like, the Palestinian protesters sound like violent, aggressive people for whatever. He was trying to do propaganda and he was very bad at it. He was very low energy. He wasn't heavy on the details and was just complaining that he was a Jew. And it's like, no one believes you. At this point, so many people are against Jewish people's genocide that they don't have time to go after everyone. So if it was just one or two people, these fucking Jews are they put out articles, they fucking come at you with full force. But now there's just so many people talking shit about Israel. They don't have the ability to deal with everyone doing everything all the time, which is good because they are horribly monstrous people. Not only will they kill Palestinians, they'll taunt them as they're killing them and after they kill them, and then they will um, call you anti-Semitic for um, being horrified that they killed an innocent person. So yeah, just all around the worst kind of genociders, these pussy ass, nerd ass genociders. They're not used to having power and now they have it and they just use it in the worst way possible. They're like the Elon Musk of countries. They were nerds getting picked on their whole life and then now that they have power, they just fucking do all the shit that they wanted to do when they were being picked on. And at least bullies and jocks, they grew up with power, so they know how to handle it and how to avoid the worst of it. But these fucking nerds, they have no self reflection and they just think whatever I want to do is right because they've never been able to do what they want to do, so they've never had to like curtail what they wanted to do. Alexander Pushkin was a famous and great Russian black African poet in the 18th century. Meanwhile, in America, he would have been a slave. Yeah, I mean, America had so many black people, and we just all shunted them off into the slave corner. Like Russians, they only had like 17 black people, so it's easy to be nice to black people when, you see one every 5 months. But if you're living with black people, you can't be nice to them all the time. Not that America was trying. And the fact that we had a lot of the people was because we imported them as slaves. So it's kind of our fault that we got sick of black people so quickly. But it's easy to be nice to one black poet every now and then. It's hard if you have to live with them every day. But yeah, it's our fault that we have to live with them every day because we imported them here. What do you call it when you have a bunch of slaves coming in? You don't call it import because that's like objects and it makes it sound benign when you drag them, when you ship them over here like cattle. Horrible past, and I am firmly on the side of black people against white people, but I'm trying to hate white people less. I think the internet is great. The internet is great, and the motherfucking um, printing press and science and quantum physics and all that is amazing. So I try to look at that, and I don't try to look at what happened to Africa or South America or Southeast Asia as much. I just try to focus on the good parts of white people. They brought us out of our medieval slumber into the modern age. Let's not examine how many people had to die unnecessarily for that to happen, but it happened. Pushkin wasn't black? What the fuck? I'm getting lied to by y'all. My next door neighbor are so loud. Six people and two dogs in a 500 square foot apartment. Damn. Sounds Mexican. That's crazy that motherfucking Pushkin was black. Oh my God, who's lying? Pushkin mixed with Jew. I bet he was like tan. Back in the day, anyone who was tan was you just called black. But to them, they were black. I think America just overloaded themselves with black people. We had to gradually do it. Get used to a Mexican, get used to Indian, and then work your way up to black people. But we just fucking cold plunged it with black people, and we just brought out the worst in us. I'm white in this situation. Um, but yeah. What is it with people buying dogs? I guess when you're poor and your life sucks, that's when you need a dog the most, just this pure being of energy and positivity. But that's when you can handle a dog the least. When you're living in a 500 square foot apartment with five other people, that's when you emotionally need a dog the most. I was born in Soviet Union. I know he was not black, but maybe that's propaganda because they didn't want. Damn, we got two people born in the USSR. What are the chances? Maybe that's a sign that I'm too communist. All these fucking ex-communists in the chat. Yeah, it's just when you're rich and you can handle having a dog the most, that's when you don't want a dog because you're like, I'm always traveling, I'm always hanging out with friends. I don't need a dog, but I can take care of the dog the best. So it's just one of those things in life. When you need an umbrella, you don't have it. But yeah, I don't know if Pushkin was black or not. I don't think it's a big deal. I think we should just enjoy him whether or not he was black. I mean, he was definitely tan though, right? It seems like he was tan. And I think we can agree that tan people are kind of weird looking if you're used to white people all the time. Same with kids, true. When you're most ready to have a kid, that's when you don't want a kid because your life is going so great. The mouth is on the face. So, um, yeah, Gorbachev, don't know much about him. What else is going on? The Jews are calling. I think that Bill Burr is based and he is saying a lot of things that make a lot of sense. These people that are coming up with the right answers and they want to suck up billionaires as a life strategy. They see that people, oh, yeah, some people are just like, I want to be a billionaire's butt boy and I want to just defend them and that's how I want to make a living. Some people are designed to survive in this shit situation that we're in and they're not going to change. they're just going to continue to survive in this scenario. They don't want to create a better world because they've spent all their energy and marbles trying to survive in this one. So they don't want to make the world better. They just want to get good at surviving in this one. But why should we stop changing the world because you have picked a dead end of a strategy because you're satisfied with this? Maybe we should advance and progress our society so that we don't have to create more people that are perfectly designed for this system. If you have to change who you are so much to survive in the system, it's like the system isn't doing what it's supposed to do. The system is supposed to enhance and uh, greatly help your potential and turn you into something else. If everyone has to change so much for the system, that means the system is not working for the people. And you should have a system that helps people become greater and doesn't require so much effort and energy just to survive in it. But yeah, Bill Burr is saying like, "Hey, these billionaires are fucking assholes. They're preventing me from being the full human being that I could be because I have to be surrounded by motherfuckers that are just surviving in this one situation." And if everyone was freed from this need to work for survival, then everyone would be a better person. And artists are informed by each other and they could become better artists and they could perform for better audiences who are smarter and you could do more complicated bits. But if everyone is fucking retarded, then you're stuck performing for audiences that are retarded and the art is going to suffer. So maybe he feels a little bit of that. I know Steve Martin said he was sick of the audience. So I think like the audience in the 70s were all retarded and full of lead poisoning because we put it in our gas and lead made everyone angry and aggressive. And so maybe Steve Martin was like, this audience is retarded. I don't want to break myself to perform for this kind of audience. But yeah, Bill Burr has been saying a lot of shit like Free Luigi as a joke. He's been saying Elon Musk is a laminated faced cunt. And yeah, I think Elon Musk is just, he has a hammer, which is Silicon Valley startup culture, and he thinks that could be used to solve everything. But here's the thing, we don't want that. That shit is a broken system. That's a fucked up way that you guys have found a way to survive in this system, and you're like, oh, this must be the right way to do things. But it's not. It's like good for creating apps that are similar versions of each other and just not really evolving past the smartphone. And it's not an innovative culture. It just has a lot of money, a lot of new money. It's a new frontier, but it's become a facsimile of the old system that we had. It's just capitalism applied to newer technology, and they think that they're so awesome and they found a new way of doing things. Oh, just fire everyone and have an algorithm take the place of this person, of all the people that you fired. But that's just your way of dealing with technology under capitalism, which is where you try to maximize profit for your stakeholders and you don't give a fuck about the workers. And they're just trying to use technology to get rid of workers and to continue to fuck over workers. And it's like, maybe we don't have to fuck over workers out of instinct, out of habit. Maybe that's not the most efficient way to do things. They just think that they're the future because they have technology, but they're using an old mindset that they adopted from capitalism to do the new technology. And because capitalism rules everything, that there's no other way to do things. We need new COVID to hit California. Yo, what the fuck? Just Googled. Ever plan to retire regular ship on KT? I mean, I don't have to. I can always go back or whatever. Um, and you were in trouble when we started worshiping business nerds, Steve Jobs, Musk, etc. Yeah, the workers that actually made the Apple products and iPhone. But we are gonna do something outdoors, and now it's raining. I need to think quick. I was gonna go on a first date with a cute girl. He said grill. But we are gonna do something outdoors, and now it's raining. I need to think quick. What is he on? Xanax. You should. Karimov, the I only read headlines guy. To get away from politics, what's your favorite jazz saxophone solo? What's beef? LOL. Okay, Bill Burr is awesome. He wants to take away money from billionaires. At this point, like, why not? Let's try something different. Have we ever tried a complete revolution like the French Revolution? Why don't we try some of that? Why don't we try a different thing? We are in the future. We have stability and technology. We don't have to do things one way. There's people that are like this. There's only one way we can do things. This is the only way. And if we try anything slightly different, where it's all gonna fall apart. It's like, dude, we're in the future now. We can do so many different things. Why are we stuck only doing one thing? It's a monoculture. We stage coups and revolutions in other countries so that we don't have to try anything new. And a monoculture is susceptible to disease and rot, and it's not diverse, it's not strong, it's not stable, it's not robust. We should have a lot of different types of governments, but America will kill your president if you try anything new. Maybe that's the problem with the world, is that no one else trying anything new. We're all just being bitches to America and doing very slight variations of what America is doing, giving all your money to billionaires and hoping that they're nice. You know, comedy is about being funny. It's about pleasing the audience. And when the audience is trying not to enjoy you, then you have to find a new audience. Fuck that audience. It's amazing how much of comedy is pleasing the audience. It's like once you get great at it, like, some of the greats, then you can just do whatever you want to do. But until then, you have to do what the audience likes. Otherwise, you're not pleasing yourself or the audience. You're not smart enough as a beginning comic to know what pleases you. You have to find out what the audience likes and then work that way into your brain and then find out what you like. I hate people that hate dirty jokes, people that go to comedy shows to watch saints and lessons on how to be a good person. Why would I take the vehicle of comedy that can go to any corner of the human experience and make it shiny and beautiful? Why would I take that beautiful vehicle and just go to the mall? Just take a nice 25-mile-per-hour drive. Like, this is comedy. You can fucking take it off ramps and jumps. And you just want me to just safely just go to the fucking mall. Ooh, hello, look. A little daisy patch. No, I want to go in a mud pit, talk about Jews and genocide and all that. Like, you just want to watch comedy to fucking talk about your mom and your dad. Boring. Let's talk about some crazy shit like murder. There were some people in the front row who were Dua Lipaing me, just giving me nothing, just trying to suck all the energy out of the room. They were kind of annoying. Public housing. People are given houses so that we don't have homeless people. And instead of homes being owned by corporations and useless landlords, you can give everyone a house. Public housing, socialized housing, instead of making houses for investment properties. What if we had houses for not investment properties? Compassion for trans people is the frontier of compassion. It's like being pro civil rights during the 60s. What if there was someone during the civil rights movement that were like, these black people are great, but what I'm really into is these he she's and making sure that they can go to the bathroom. Hans, when are you going on Kill Tony next? Let's raid Tony's house on mopeds. Well, that is a physical threat to someone I consider a president. Shocking comedy can get old too, though. Yeah, obviously. You shouldn't just take your the vehicle of comedy through a mud pit just because that's what you're used to and you don't know it's like a safe spot. But yeah, I mean, you can make comedy out of mundane things as long as like your brain is going through something interesting while you're doing it. Oh yeah, you're saying right, let's raid Tony's house, and that to me is the president. So you're basically threatening the president, and I won't have any of that. I will be on Kill Tony when I will be on Kill Tony, and I'm not gonna push it. I've already been on Kill Tony a bunch. I smoked with a Korean most of my life. I know this man is a loaded baked potato. So you think that you know so much about Koreans, huh? This is what pisses me off about white people. They go to Korea once and they think they know everything. It's like they're fucking motherfucking uh self-centered narcissistic white people that just tick off cultures like it's a fucking checklist. They're like, "Oh, discovered that, know all about that. Now back to my white life." Like uh they go traveling and they try to learn as little as possible. But no, I'm just kidding. That's great that you smoked with a Korean. I think that's cool to do. It's great that you learned about a culture by fucking up a Korean brain and talking with that person. But yeah, I know this one lady who's just like, I've been to Asia. I know so much about you. And then she feels like she could do the ho 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 chicha ching chong chong voice to me, and that's not offensive. Like, no, I've been to Asia. It's like you're not Asian. You know very little about our culture. I know to you, you learned a lot, so you feel like you know a lot about Asian culture, but you don't know anything. I don't know anything, and I'm fucking Asian. I've lived in America my whole life. I know I don't know anything. I don't pretend to know everything. Like these people have to act like they know every culture just to feel good about themselves. And that's sad. So I let them have their delusion. But yeah, it's just this weird thing that white people do where they tick off cultures and they're like, "Yeah, I know everything about Black culture. I hung out with black people. I know everything about Asian culture." Like, why is it all centered around you? Like, why do you think that we all need a why do you think that we all need to fucking learn about what do you do? When do you stream? Usually around this time when my girlfriend is at work. But I usually stream for an hour. I'm almost at an hour. Shocking how I smoked on the Korean. But no, I'm not saying McKeister is doing that. But yeah, it's great that you smoked the Korean, so you know a lot about Koreans, but you don't know everything. No one can know everything about a culture. This guy's all about rating things on mopeds. He's like really big into those big groups of people that run around everywhere. It's like, why don't you just stay in one spot and talk to each other? You have to like constantly change your scenery just so you can talk to people. You can't just talk to people in one setting. Things need to be changing around you. These are people that want to have a conversation and also be distracted by things all the time. I don't know why I'm going after McKeister so hard. No, that's not McKeister. That's Event Horizon. That's the raid guy. Chinese people are the most wonderful people. Chinese people are the most wonderful people. Dude, no, it's windy and shit. Yeah, it's windy in Austin. Outdoors in the rain works with these cool new tools called umbrellas. Oh yeah, that guy that wants to go on a date. Every day, I don't stream every day. I wish I did. Don't you think Asians do the exact same thing? Same through tourism. Asians, when they go tour, when they, when they're, when Asians are tourists, they're just like, oh, take a picture. Let's go. Oh, look at this. Oh, let's take a picture. Yeah. It's not like they're learning a lot. They don't seem to have a mastery over different cultures. They just are Chinese in Europe. They don't try to learn. They're happy being Chinese. Any knowledge that they get is like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like Chinese people really take well to traveling. It just seems like they're just being Chinese in different places. Have you ever been to Vegas where the Asians go to places and gaggles? Yeah, like why do you travel if you're just gonna be around Chinese people all day? Just go to a fucking Just put on some VR headsets. Like, why do you have to travel if you're just going to do the same thing that you usually do? But Chinese people they love a group. They love being a part of a large group. And some say that's better. Some say that's the ultimate expression of humanity is a large mob. You have the power inside of a mob. You're like a Voltron. Chinese people love a good Voltron. Hong Bong, what kind of work did you do before living in your car? So I went to school for mechanical engineering. I worked at Quiznos and Subways through college and high school. After high school, I worked during college. I worked at Burger Master in Bellevue, and then I worked at a medical device startup for 6 months before I got fired for being awful at my job. Oh, I worked at Burger Master when I was doing comedy. Then I did comedy. I lived with my mom and paid $0 in rent, got a car for free, and all that shit. And I just did comedy for 5 years. Then I moved to New York. I had a job at Surratt Metalworks where I just did nothing pretty much. And then I got fired. Thank God. Gave me free time. That's when I lived in a van because I was like, fuck, I'm not paying. I'm not getting another job to pay for a place that I'm never gonna be at. It's like, okay, guys, we're going on vacation. Don't forget to be annoying. Yeah, that's Chinese people. It doesn't seem like Chinese people are learning very much when they travel. Chinese people, why do you travel if you're just going to be around other Chinese people? I'm sure that it's fun to be in a different scenario and run into different people, but they just love being around. They just love being Chinese too much. They just go to other places to be Chinese. At least white people try to blend in a little bit. That's annoying too when white people go to another country. They're like, oh, look at me. I'm Thai. No one thinks you're Thai. Everyone can tell you're a fucking white person. They're like, oh, I've become so Thai now. But yeah, love you guys so much. I'm gonna call this an end. Raid a Korean live animal market. I'm all about raids. This guy. Oh, this guy's talking shit about Korean barbecue. I just had Korean barbecue. It's pretty good. Korean barbecue is very chewable. It's very eatable, edible. They're looking for new ideas. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much. Good night. I'm a little sick. Good night.